No one asked me, but I'm about to turn 30 next year, and you know, around that time of life, one could go through some sort of a life crisis, if you will. Some people call it a quarter life crisis, midlife crisis, death death crisis, whatever crisis you're going through. I think we all can agree that it's a shitty time where the shit just gets too backed up and too stink for us to carry anymore, that we just have to spread our ass and just shit it all out. But on a more serious note, I think we can boil it down to identifying the misalignments in our lives. And the misalignments can be something like, oh, I used to really love tennis and now I'm fucking overweight and I don't play tennis. Or, oh, I used to be such a happy and sweet person and now I'm a bitter hoe. It's when we notice who we think we should be, who we think we're meant to be, is not matching up with our current situation, our current reality, if you will. And I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about my own personal experiences, my thought processes, and how I kind of moved on from that. Hopefully, it'll reach somebody that needs to hear this. So, let's get into it. Oh, and by the way, I'm not an expert. I'm not trying to position myself as one. I'm literally just a motherfucker with a computer and a mouth. Well, anyway, let's get back into the thingy. Life crises, y'all know what I'm trying to say, happen when the shit gets too stink, too heavy for us to carry, too loud for us to ignore, that we simply have no other choice than to face it all at once. And you're like, whoa, what have I done with all my time? What have I done with my life? That's scary, and it kind of hits you like a wall. It hits you in the face and it becomes overwhelming at times. That's how I lived my 20s. Without going into very hyper specific details, I did go through a couple of tragic incidents during my 20s that definitely altered and shaped my self concept, but we can't stay there forever. So, anyway, my 20s. If I could say a little bit about it, I would say the overall feeling that I embodied during those years, they're most likely negative. If I just like kind of if I'm being really honest with myself, they're mostly negative. Yeah, I don't remember a lot of my 20s. Like I can't tell you how I spent my birthdays. I can't recall many conversations that I've had during my 20s. Like, if I were to give you words, it would probably be off rip. This is unscripted, by the way. Um, Off rip, it would be disassociated, not present, and anxious. I was the most insecure, unsure, and depressed in my 20s than I ever have been in my entire life. Self concept and self confidence wasn't really something that I struggled with in my earlier years of life. I was very confident in my ability to do things, and that just completely changed in my 20s. And something that I noticed that I did was I was giving has been energy. And before you go, what are you talking about? You're talking about your 20s, right? What do you mean has been energy? Listen, it's an energy. I think it could possess you at any given moment of your life. It doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, 50s, 60s, 70s, like it doesn't matter. Has been energy. I will double down on that statement. And what I mean by that is I would refer to specific points in my past, specifically achievements that I was proud of, and view them as the paradigm of who I thought I should be now and forever. And I just felt so far from that. The gap was so wide, and it felt like the goalpost was in the past and I was reaching for that, and I used to be that person, and I just no longer was that person anymore, and I was sad about it. Some of the things that I was sad about, I'll give a couple of examples. I would consistently say, I used to be so good at singing. And that was true. I was seen as the class singer. I performed in a couple of school talent shows. I've written a couple of songs with friends and other artists and had a great time. Another thing was I used to be really strong as fuck. And that was also true. I had a football coach come up to me when I was attending university in my freshman year, and he asked me if he could personally train me for powerlifting, and he wanted to enter me into competitions to be a powerlifter. I just felt so far from that. I was going through some shit at the time, and I stopped singing. I also started eating for comfort. I had no restraint whatsoever. If I wanted to eat it now, I was going to eat it now. I didn't give a fuck if it was like 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. I would just eat at any time of the day. Like, it was a wild west, and so I put on a bunch of weight. Maybe as a way of escaping, I consistently latched on to those particular moments that I was proud of in my past because it felt safer than what I was going through at the time. And it's fine to think back and appreciate how you have done things in the past. But I think the important thing is to not stay there. That is a dangerous and slippery slope because there's one thing to, honor and hold gratitude for how you've done things and what you've achieved in the past, but that does not dictate your future. You can just be like, wow, that was lit, and then move on, right? I didn't move on from that. That is the has-been energy. That's how it festered into my life. I think there's like a couple of other things that really made the gap feel so wide. Social media is one thing that comes to mind. And I'm not trying to talk shit about social media because, if you're watching this video, you found this via social media. I love social media for many, many things, but it's easy to get lost in the sauce. Social media does this tricky thing where it gives us a bunch of dopamine spikes and it makes us think that we have done something when we actually haven't done anything at all. And so my experience, I was saving a lot of vocal warm-up videos, saving videos of like workouts, and this is all short form content, by the way. So I would just save them in a little folder and then forget about it. And it would give me the satisfaction of like, wow, I saved it into my little workout folder. Good for me. Give myself a cookie. I had to really lock in and ask myself, okay, am I really going to refer to this video later, or is this going to be just another form of digital hoarding? If I watched my life play out from a movie screen about that fuck shit that I was doing, how would I feel? I thought about it and I just went, I would actually rage bait myself. I would piss myself the fuck off. Like, what do you mean you keep talking about the old days, about how that was your best, and you're doing nothing about it to bring yourself to that moment and potentially even surpass that moment? It took that for me to just go, okay, this is done. Like I'm over this shit. I'm done with saying the same sentences over and over again, saying, "Oh, I used to do this." Fuck that. I just want to say I do this now. That's it. That's all it took. It was deciding that I wanted a different outcome and deciding that it already happened. I had to stop identifying as the person that used to be good at singing. I want to be good at singing. I am good at singing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I used to work out. I used to do stuff like this. No, I could actually do that right now. This is not has been. It never was. No, I'm joking. This is not has been. You took a pause from it and you're just revisiting it now. That old you is not dead. You're not that person anymore. You can grow from that person and you can evolve into something better. That's the thing that I wanted to talk about. It's we sometimes we notice these misalignments and they feel impossible. They feel like that was me 30 years ago. That was me 10 years ago. Whatever bullshit we decide to tell ourselves, right? We sell ourselves this negative talk. Oh, we can't do that because that was just so long ago. Well, what if you just shut up and you just made inspired actions for 2 weeks? Fuck the 75 hard. What if you did 14 hard? What if you did 7 hard? But yeah, for the singing and like the fitness stuff, I just do vocal warm-ups. I mean, I was kind of shitty the first week or two. I was a little rusty, but after a couple of weeks, I felt like I sounded better than ever. And I just thought, wow, this is just as easy as I remember. I didn't have to overcomplicate this. And then for the fitness, I just had to do things in bite-sized pieces. I was so lethargic and I gained so much weight. I felt like I had no energy, so I just thought to myself, let me just make something so easy that I can't not do it. I actually started off doing 5-minute workouts. I would just wake up in the morning and I would do like a 5-minute ab circuit, and I did that consistently. After it started feeling a little bit easier, then I got somebody's 6-week fitness program so that I could just have somebody design the workouts for me. And it was nothing that I haven't already done. I just needed that structure again. Like I was doing something. I got myself a gym membership, a really affordable one, started going with friends, and completely changed my life. I lost weight in a healthy way by just eating whole foods, cutting out processed foods, cutting out, the midnight snacking, all that, and just drinking my water. And I lost almost 30 pounds. And it didn't take a long time. It didn't take years and years. And I think heavy on the demystifying things. We need to break things down so that it's digestible to us at wherever we are in our lives, right? Because I really just spent 10 years with that has-been energy when I could have taken it into bite-sized pieces. And no, I'm not blaming myself. I don't regret how things played out. It was a nice lesson that I learned that anything that we want to achieve, it can be ours. It's already ours. We have to assume that it already is, right? We don't have to suffer so much and say the same stories over and over again. It's so hard to lose weight. Okay, then it is. Oh, it feels like the needle's not even moving. I've been putting in this work and nothing is happening. Okay, then it isn't. Right? Control Alt Delete those thoughts from your brain because you're only just setting more hurdles up for yourself. Remove that time limit that you think you need to have and just watch everything happen for you so quickly. So quickly. Maybe this experience can be enjoyable. Maybe it can be really easy for me. Maybe I don't have to be a bitter bitch about all of this. Like maybe I can have a great time. And so that's the era that I'm in right now. Do I have a Grammy? No. Am I a powerlifting champion? World-class champion? Could have been one, but I'm not. And that's okay. But the purpose of this video is to just remind yourself that whatever crisis that you're going through, it's gonna pass as long as you can decide that you want something better for yourself and put the inspired actions behind it and have a good time doing it. Heavy on that part. I genuinely don't think that I would get to the space where I am right now if I haven't enjoyed the process. There's ways that we can will into existence if we really want something to happen. And for me, I was done with repeating these old narratives of has been energy, and I was ready to invite current and new energy, moving energy. An object in motion stays in motion. That's about it, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one.